It's raining and it is the perfect reading weather right now. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Liz, and in today's video we are going to do a reading vlog where I am tracking how many pages I read each day. So I usually keep track of how many pages I read in like a whole month, so I can like kind of average out about how many pages I read a week, but I'm just curious. I want to see how much I can read in a typical week. I'm not going to be reading like this huge amount, but I'm curious. I want to see how much I typically read in a normal like work week. But yeah, so I'm just going to take you guys along with me for the next week to see, and every day I will let you know how many pages I read the day previously, and also sharing what books I am reading. I actually started a new book this morning, and this is on my spring TBR. I'm trying to get more of my spring TBR read because I haven't read any of my spring TBR yet, and we are starting May. So that's not great, but it's not that I'm not reading, it's just for whatever reason, my spring TBR has taken a back seat. The first book that I started for this video is Pickup by Nora Dalia. The reason why I wanted to read this, the book I read before this one was like a fantasy / literary fiction type book. I really enjoyed it, and I was kind of feeling like I was going into like a book hangover, so I really wanted to read something that was light and fun and just a good time, and that I think is gonna be Pickup for me by Nora Dalia. I'm like 60-ish pages in, but I feel like I have a good understanding of what's happening to be able to explain it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. In this book we are following 3 different people. Actually, we're following our main girl Sasha, who is a single mom. She got divorced and she has 2 kids. And then we're also following Ethan, who is a single dad. He is freshly divorced and he has a daughter. And then we're also following this third character named Caitlin, and she's just like this outsider perspective. It's kind of interesting the way the book is set up so far. You get Sasha's point of view, and then the next chapter will be Ethan, and then the third chapter will be Caitlin, and it just keeps going in that order. Caitlin is also a parent at the school. We don't know much about her except that she knew Sasha when they were younger, like when they were, I think, teenagers, and so they have a little bit of a history, but like they lost touch and they sort of have reconnected since their kids go to the same school. But Caitlin's chapters all take place during school pickup, so you get to see her kind of viewing Sasha from the outside. Not that they're having like conversations, but just she makes observations about Sasha, like how she's dressed for that day, or how she looks, if she looks tired or excited or whatever. It kind of sounds like she's like jealous of Sasha, also like a little spurned by her because Sasha hasn't kept in touch with her. So there's like a little bit of this like animosity kind of underlying Caitlin's chapters. So I'm really curious to see how she's gonna be involved in the rest of this book, like what the point is of her character. I'm sure there's actually an actual reason that she's getting chapters. Our 2 main characters, Sasha and Ethan, they both kind of have not a rivalry, but they just don't get along. It seems like Ethan keeps getting things handed to him for his kid at the school, like all the teachers and parents love him, and Sasha, she's getting like the scraps. Sasha clearly does not like Ethan. Ethan actually likes Sasha, but he keeps doing things that are ticking her off pretty much the entire time. They both end up getting this job that's on this island for a few days and get to go away and like basically go on a vacation together essentially for work. Obviously tensions will arise and they will start to actually like each other. So far it's just like very funny and cute and simple. It doesn't really need a lot of brain power from me. That's where I'm at. I will try to keep this vlog updated when I read more, and once again, like I said, I will be updating how many pages I read each day. So right now we're at like 60-ish pages. I'm hoping I can read some more tonight when I get home from work. To give my total of how many pages I read yesterday and give a quick update on my book. Yesterday I read 180 pages, like exactly. That's like a little over halfway into this book. Definitely strange reading from like a 40-year-old's perspective. It's a lot different. Some of the conversations that they're having or the comments that they make with each other, I don't know, it does come across as a little immature, especially for their age. But since they've been divorced and this is like a second chance at romance in their life, a second relationship in their life, I can't really speak on that. So I mean, maybe you do act like you're your younger self again because you're giddy and like it's the feeling of having a crush again and you've been out of the dating scene for so long. I'm trying to like kind of understand that as I'm reading. Caitlin, I think I know who she is and why her chapters are important. They haven't come out and said it yet, but I feel like I know who she is. It doesn't take a huge leap in logic to figure out who she is and why her chapters are important. I don't like Caitlin. I know that much. I don't like her. All of her chapters I feel like are so negative, shallow and superficial. Like she's judging people based on their appearance, and I feel like there's just like a lot of jealousy built up in her. Thankfully her chapters are very, very short. Those are my thoughts. That's really all I have to say at the moment. There's nothing like groundbreaking that has been happening. It is a very rainy and gross day today. We're supposed to have severe thunderstorms later this evening, so believe it or not, it's morning. It looks really dark. I'm gonna try to read a little bit more before I go into work this morning, just like have a really calm, peaceful, relaxing start to the day. So I want to say like 80% into this book. I'm really close to finishing. I'm definitely knocking this out tonight. I now know who Caitlin is and why her character is important. Definitely guessed it pretty early on, so it wasn't like a huge plot twist or like mic drop moment for me at least. Also, I'm just thinking like, okay, why is our main character so oblivious to like literally everyone around her besides herself? Also, I can see where the third act breakup is going to come into play. I see where the miscommunication and the overthinking is all going to be happening. So I'm just waiting for that to happen, and then I'm curious how long it's going to last into the ending. Hopefully not very long, because to me it's like you are both in your 40s. You are adults. You have children who rely on you for their well-being and their survival. You cannot act like you're in high school or even college for that matter with this miscommunication, with the overthinking. I'm hoping to knock this out tonight, and then I really, really want to start a new book, maybe a romantasy. I kind of either a romantasy or a mystery. I need something different. I will update hopefully soon. I'm channeling Milo and Murphy today with my all black ensemble, minus the hat. So as you guys saw last night, I did in fact finish Pickup by Nora Dalia. I think I've settled on my rating and have my final thoughts with this book. I'm gonna settle on a 3-star for this one. I went in really enjoying it. I felt like just like the petty arguments between the two was really funny. Getting to see both of their point of views, I really enjoyed. However, I want to say like the last third of the book, I just was not having the best time. A lot of their miscommunication seemed unrealistic to me, especially given the fact that they're both in their 40s and they both have been in previous marriages before. Also, like, I understand that the situation that they got put in was awkward, but I just don't like how they handled it. I didn't feel like they acted their age in the last chunk of this book. I still would recommend it to someone if they wanted like a quick, easy read, because this is very easy to read, and I do think that this would be a great springtime read, because to me it felt very spring, even summery a little bit. It does mention Halloween, but it never gives Halloween. Also, some of their conversations and like the phrases that they would use were a little cringy, not gonna lie. So that's why it's a 3, but still would recommend it to someone if they wanted like a quick, easy romance book to read. After finishing Pickup, I think I had 179 pages read yesterday to finish that book, and then I did pick up my next book for this video, and that is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I have had this on my TBR for so long. I mean, I didn't buy the physical book until this year, but every single year, like, this was in my camera roll and I've wanted to read this book, and I finally got it this year and I'm finally reading it, which is exciting. I ended up picking up this book. Obviously, I clearly took the dust jacket off immediately. How many pages did I read last night? Let me check. I read 18 pages last night. So, doing a little bit of math, 179 plus 18 is gonna get us to 197. So yesterday I read 197 pages, and we're jumping in today. First impressions. I've only read 2 chapters, but with those 2 chapters that I have read, I am eating this book up. Our main character, she is a princess of one of these kingdoms. When she was born, another kingdom gifted her parents and her these dragon eggs. No one thought anything of it. They didn't think that these dragon eggs would hatch for some reason, but they hatched on the day that she was born and immediately bonded with our main character, Elowen. When she was 4 years old, sold. The king tried to hit her and one of her dragons bit off his pinky. He then caged all of her dragons and he sent her to the dungeons and had her imprisoned for majority of her life. Natural reaction to losing a pinky. Then she was able to escape. It hasn't really gone into depth on how she escaped and who helped her, but we are many, many years in the future. I'm assuming she's like in her 20s. She now has kind of like a rebellion, essentially. She has started a whole new kingdom. It's like hidden from other kingdoms. No one can find them. And a commander from an enemy kingdom comes in and he is trying to strike a deal with her, basically saying, go on this heist with me to free your dragons. And in exchange of me helping you get them back, you and your dragons are going to help me and my army against your father in an upcoming war. Sounds like a good compromise if I've ever heard one. So that's kind of where we're at. Caden, already described as like this super hot guy with a scar on his face. Xaden, is that you? I'm excited. He's very flirty already, which is kind of strange given his character. Like he's being described as someone who everyone is terrified of. But he's very flirty with Eowyn. He already figured out her identity, which was very quick. Like not even 20 pages into this book. He already knows that she's the lost princess. So I feel like she could have hidden that a little bit better. He basically called her the princess and she was like, how did you know? He could have just been guessing, girl, and you just confirmed it. I am still really enjoying the banter and the dialogue is just really fun. I'm gonna try to read a little bit before going into work. I'll read more tonight depending on how much I'm liking it this morning. Okay. Of quartz on this desk. It's not okay. So it is the next day. I think what my stats were from yesterday, I went from page 18 in Fear the Flames to 102. So that's gonna give me, what's 102 minus 18? 76? No. 74 pages. 74 pages? Is that right? The way I'm having such a hard time doing math right now, I swear I'm not that dumb. Usually I can do math in my brain. I think it's just too early in the morning right now. That can't be right. It would have to be like 80 something. Whatever the total is, it'll be up on the screen. Thoughts. Okay, I gave kind of like the summary or the synopsis of what this book is about. I am like about a third of the way into the book now. There is so much banter in this book. I love it. I love banter. Don't get me wrong. I love banter. However, it's laying it on a little thick. I will say that. Don't get me wrong. I am laughing. So they have entered into this deal together and it's kind of like a mutually beneficial alliance is what they're doing. And they have this heist that they're going on. Right now, we're not getting much of the heist. Like they've moved from like her kingdom down to his kingdom. So like there's movement at least, but we haven't done much with the heist and we're already a third of the way in. So I'm wondering if it's just like all gonna be like in the second half of the book will be the heist and like the first half is more like learning your characters. And you can already tell there's gonna be like a found family, his best friend who's also a soldier, and then his best friend's sister who's becoming friends with Eowyn. Like you can tell that there's some sort of found family, which I'm excited for. Also, when I was doing some research on this book, the second book, I didn't realize, for whatever reason, I thought this was a standalone. Second book comes out this summer. I'll put the release date on the screen somewhere because I can't remember what it was, but it's this summer and I'm so excited. And also the cover, it's gonna be perfect. Like I'm so excited. It matches this one. I might be like kicking myself, like, why did you start it now? You should have waited until the summer. So that way you could have like binged the second book. But we're not there yet. Maybe it won't end on a cliffhanger. It's Friday, so I'm so excited. My parents are coming into town this weekend, so we're gonna have some fun. My nephew has a soccer game that we're gonna be going to, so I'm really excited about that. That's tomorrow morning. I'm really hoping to get this book finished this weekend, at least. I feel like it's very bingeable. I'm flying through this book. That's kind of all I have to say or think at the moment. I made a coffee this morning. Honestly necessary. Scene I'm in, it's so relatable because I've definitely dealt with this. I grew up with brothers. Whenever girls want to shop and the guys or like the dad will just like camp out on the couches at the front of the store, it's just so funny watching these girls shopping and like trying on all these dresses and these guys are just like, I want to go to the tavern. Like you could not make this more modern. I'm getting whiplash. Like laughing 1 second and then like, oh crap. This is a roller coaster. clip and that was it. I ended up reading 109 pages yesterday and I'm still in Fear the Flames. I have less than 100 pages left. I think I have like maybe 80 pages. Thoughts? It is definitely giving all the tropes. Like every single trope that you can think of in a fantasy book is happening in here. Also, our MMC, he's down bad for our main character and I love it. I'm here for it. I would be reading it quicker, but I have family in town, so I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of just what I needed because I have not read Romantasy in a while. So this is kind of giving me all the things that I have been craving recently. That's a quick update. I'm gonna finish this today, hopefully, and then I want to start my next book and I will update you guys when I finish Fear the Flames. It is the next day. So once again, I did not film hardly anything, but I did read and I did keep track of what pages I read. Last night, I actually finished Fear the Flames. I think I ended up reading 80 pages total to finish this book. My final thoughts and rating on Fear the Flames. I am landing somewhere between a 3.75 and a 4-star. It was a 4-star for a majority of this book. However, I felt like the ending ruined it a little bit for me. Like I didn't love the conflict that we had at the end. I felt like that was a little bit unnecessary. It could have been a standalone if we had just like picked up the pace a little bit. The heist took like until the last third of the book. We didn't actually do the heist. For majority of the book, it was just our two main characters flirting. Trust me, I love banter and I loved their banter. I thought they were so funny. Our main character was so funny and witty. I definitely like that kind of dialogue within a book because it definitely makes it more fast-paced. But I just felt like the heist was a little bit underwhelming. It didn't feel like it was as high stakes as it should have been. I didn't love the ending. That's why I'm kind of hovering between a 3.75 star and a 4-star. I'm not sure yet what I'm gonna settle on because I finished this last night, so it's still very fresh right now. But I wanted to just give those initial thoughts before moving on to the next book. This is actually our final day of tracking pages, and so I wanted to pick a book that I have been leaving on my TBR for a really long time. And the final book that I will be starting in this video is The Guest by B.A. Paris. I read The Therapist by B.A. Paris and I loved it. It's one of my favorite psychological thrillers that I've read. I was like very surprised by how much I enjoyed it. So I've always been wanting to read more by B.A. Paris. It follows our two main characters, Iris and Gabriel. They're a married couple who have just come back from a vacation. One of their friends is staying in their house when they arrive home, and without their permission, she just is there. She walked out on her husband because he had a secret affair and got another woman pregnant. She's at their house, and while she's there, obviously they're trying to be supportive of her, while also trying to figure out the full story from their other friend because this is like very out of character for him. While she's there, she starts to just kind of cross boundaries, honestly, like sleeping in their bed and doing things like that where it's like a normal person would not do that. A normal person who is sane would not do that at their friend's house. I'm really, really excited because B.A. Paris has very fast-paced and suspenseful writing, so I'm really excited. And I feel like since it's gonna be within a house and like very closed quarters, I'm really curious to see how that's gonna go. I'm trying to put myself in their situation. If you come home and you realize like one of your friends is staying in your house, kind of acting a little like off and crossing boundaries, I don't know how you would go about that conversation without like offending someone. This is gonna be the final book we read in this video. I'm gonna try to read some today. I have a half day at work, so I'm gonna try to read a little bit before I have to leave, and then I will read more when I get home. We're gonna see what we get. And clearly I already took the dust jacket off. You guys know. It has now been a complete week of tracking the number of pages that I have been reading. So yesterday, I, once again, barely filmed anything, but I did keep track of how many pages I read. So I started The Guest by B.A. Paris yesterday morning, and I ended up actually binge reading most of it. I ended up reading 204 pages yesterday. Let's quickly go through our stats for this week. Tuesday last week was the first day of this video. I read 180 pages of Pickup, so I started that book. Then Wednesday, I read 179 pages to finish Pickup, and I started 18 pages into Fear the Flames, which gave me a total of 197 pages on Wednesday. Thursday, I read 84 pages of Fear the Flames. Friday, I read 79 pages of Fear the Flames. Saturday, I read 109 pages of Fear the Flames, and then Sunday, I read 80 to finish that book. And then yesterday, I read 204 pages of The Guest. And that, if I'm doing my math correctly, is 933 pages in 1 week. Sometimes it just depends on the week. Some weeks I'm very motivated to read and get a lot done, and other weeks I'm not motivated at all and barely get any reading done. So this I feel like was kind of like right in the middle. I was motivated for majority of the week and then not as motivated for the other half of the week. So I feel like it kind of evened out. This was like a more average week for me. I thought it was a lot of fun. It actually like really helped me focus on what I was reading, keeping track of how many pages I read. It kind of made me feel a bit better because sometimes, especially if I'm in like a book slump, I feel very unmotivated to read. So I feel like this would be a good thing to start doing when I'm in a book slump. I had a lot of fun with this video. I thought it was really fun to keep track. Also, my reading journal has a little page tracker in it, which is really nice. I don't really use it, but I think in the future I might start using it more just because of how successful this video was. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for coming along with me for a week to read 3 different books and keeping track of what pages I was reading. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.